They told me I was controlling. They called my mother a witch. And when I found out the truth, my own daughter looked me in the eye and said she wished he was her father instead. I don't know if this will help. It's been 13 days since I created this account to vent. I lost my dignity, my pride, my love. I'm a man who will walk around ashamed because of what I did. I renounced and destroyed my family. This is the only place I'll write this. I don't intend for it to go public. If it does, I'll delete this account. I'm 48 years old now. This story began when I was 20. I met a girl I thought was perfect. She was 19. We clicked immediately, had perfect chemistry. We dated for 2 years before she got pregnant at 21 and we moved in together. Back then, I lived with my mother. My father died when I was 15, and my mother never remarried. She owned a consulting business where I worked as a receptionist. My late father's construction business had been sold when I was young. I became a father at 23 to a baby girl. She was beautiful. The bond between my girlfriend and me deepened after that. 2 years later, we got married. I landed a job as a computer programmer with good pay. It was in high demand. Our lives took off. My wife wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I agreed but also suggested she get a part-time job to keep herself occupied. Things changed when I was 29 and she was 28. Her father suffered a terrible accident that left him paralyzed from the waist down. To make matters worse, he was the sole provider. I had a conversation with my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and sister-in-law. They lived in a rented place and now the only breadwinner was immobile. Finances were a problem, so I offered for them to move in with us. My sister-in-law got a part-time job, as did my wife, to support her family. During this time, I received part of my grandmother's inheritance, which was divided into 2 portions, a college fund and my insurance as decided by my mother. I had no issues with that, but my wife wanted to use it to buy a house so we could move out. I didn't have a problem with that, but she specifically wanted to buy a house in her mother's name with my inheritance, and both sisters would work to pay me back. That was the issue. We had some distance between us because I found her proposal strange. 2 years passed. My mother suffered a stroke, she had several blood clots, and doctors needed to perform emergency surgery. It was successful, but my wife wanted my mother to stay at the hospital instead of coming home, saying it would be difficult to care for 2 patients at home. I agreed but said I'd hire a nurse. She refused. She wanted me to hire 2 nurses to care for my father-in-law and my mother, or none at all. I told her she'd have to pay for her father's expenses because I was already handling the bills, groceries, taxes, our daughter's private school, and now this nurse. I couldn't afford a nurse for her father. They should be able to pay for it, since the 2 sisters together earned nearly $60,000 a year. More than enough, given that they lived and ate for free. My relationship with our daughter became a bit strained around this time. She started disrespecting me and being openly rude. I thought she was just going through childhood issues. She was 8 at the time. My mother recovered quickly and expressed her desire to sell her consulting business and put the money in my name. My wife argued with me about it because she wanted my mother to give the money to our daughter and her, since I'd already received my share of my grandmother's inheritance. What surprised me even more was that her mother and father stayed silent about it. My mother reminded her that it was her money and she wouldn't mind giving her inheritance as insurance plans, but not this way. My wife had issues with me because, look, we don't have a joint account. She can't access my account and I can't access hers. She wanted a joint account. We had a discussion, and it was decided that my mother would give all the money to me. That was the end of it. A few months passed this way, but unfortunately my father-in-law passed away. It was difficult, especially for my wife. I tried to console her as best I could. I took care of everything at home and worked by myself. I'm not bragging, I tried to do everything I could, but it still wasn't enough for her. The funeral was my responsibility. It went well, but she still complained about how I could have done better. She started sleeping in a separate room with our daughter, who was now 9. I convinced her to go to therapy and things calmed down. We became intimate again, reconnected in a better, stronger way. But I felt something was wrong with our daughter. She avoided me whenever I tried to talk to her. It hurt to see her like that. 2 years passed while I tried to build a better relationship with our daughter. During this time, my mother passed away. She had another stroke and unfortunately didn't survive. I was devastated by her loss. You see, she raised me alone for most of my life because my father was always busy. That was also why I wanted our daughter to have a better relationship with both of us, and I was making a tremendous effort to achieve that. I fell into depression but got no help from my wife. Our daughter didn't even attend the funeral, and that saddened me. 2 months after my mother's death, my mother-in-law blatantly told me I should leave my mother's house, because I was too depressed and should just get over my mother's death. I was ruining the mood in the house and it would lighten me up. I calmly said to her, I want to remind you of your husband's death. You and your daughters mourned for 6 to 8 months and we never asked you to move out. And how dare you ask me to leave my own house? She was shocked and went completely quiet. I talked to my wife about it, but she gave me no response. I think it was 2 days after that incident when I grabbed something from the fridge and noticed our daughter's phone. A message said something like, "It's good the old witch is gone. Now you can have the house to yourselves. We can throw a party for your birthday." Excuse me, what? Our daughter was 11 at the time. And who was this old witch? I read the conversation and yes, she was referring to my mother. She called me controlling, even though I'd never denied her anything except things I considered useless for her. She wanted a pony at 6, a koala at 9, a panda and her own car at 11. Who does that? I called my wife and showed her these messages. Her response was to scold me for trying to look at our daughter's phone. We had an argument about it before she stormed off. She started sleeping in separate rooms again. I tried to make peace, but she avoided me and forced me to agree to our daughter's birthday party for her to agree to talk to me. 3 years passed. For a quick review. My daughter is 15, I'm 38, and my wife is 37. I had to go to another city for a business summit for 4 months. I ended up getting a new job that provided many opportunities and an even better salary. When I returned, my wife's attitude toward me changed completely. She quit her job, spent more time with friends, which I supported, wore more expensive and elegant clothes. You get the idea. I thought it was just a change in habits and was fine with it, but our daughter started openly disrespecting me. She was rude directly to me. I kept trying and trying not to lose it. My mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and wife told me it was just hormones and that she was just a kid. I was upset but trusted them. Our intimate life improved considerably during this period between my wife and me. She wanted me to satisfy her. I liked it. We experimented with new positions, were more daring. I liked all of it except for one day when she brought up the idea of putting me in chastity, like a chastity cage. I immediately refused. We fought about it for a week before she got frustrated and dropped the subject. Our sex life declined after that. Things got worse from here. My wife suddenly wanted to take a girls' trip with her sister and our daughter. I had no issues with it, I thought it would be great. I had to pay a good amount for it, but it was fine. She didn't call me for 3 days, only talked to her mother, and I had casual conversations with her there, which seemed strange to me. I asked her about it when she returned and she told me she was just tired. I asked to see the photos. I saw many friends, both men and women, which put me on alert, but she assured me they were just girlfriends and some male friends. I didn't see anything suspicious, so I relaxed. 2 months later, it was our daughter's birthday, and I wanted to plan something for her. My wife asked me not to do anything because she'd celebrate with a girls' night. I was shocked and expressed my opinion. Who takes their daughter to a girls' night? She told me it wasn't quite like that, but yes, it would be her friends and their daughters. Just no alcohol involved. I agreed to it. My birthday was coming up after that event. Keep in mind our sex life is lukewarm now, just once a week, and I tried to initiate more, but she always made excuses. I never celebrated my birthday since my mother passed away, but every year my wife gives me gifts, so I expected that. My wife told me she needed to go shopping with our daughter. She left for 6 hours, didn't call, didn't text, and didn't bring gifts. When I asked about it, she told me one of her friends had an accident and she stayed there, couldn't answer my calls. 2 weeks later, my wife was showing me some photos from our daughter's girls' camp, and our daughter called her saying she needed her. She handed me the phone and left the room. A message came in saying, "Hi, my dear daughter. I apologize for replying so late. I'm a lucky guy to be your mom's boyfriend. Tell your mom I love her and give her a kiss for me. I'll message you soon." It took me a full minute reading the message repeatedly, and I still couldn't believe it. I scrolled up the conversation and saw that my daughter had sent this person, "I'm glad you're mom's boyfriend. I really wished you were my dad. Kisses and hugs." What the hell? I go to the bathroom, lock the door, and read this conversation. Everything noted. This guy is having an affair with my wife and our daughter knows. This guy is having an affair and our daughter knows. What the hell is going on? I saw photos of vacations, girls' trips, our daughter's birthday. They went to a candlelit dinner like a family. This guy was kissing my wife in front of our daughter, and my daughter was pointing at them like it was something romantic and good. And the worst part, my sister-in-law knew. The more I scrolled, the more my heart sank. It was this guy who gave my wife the chastity idea. It seemed like my daughter and wife were texting from this account. And the worst part? This account wasn't even hers. It was a different username, but this guy knew everything about my family. Even on my birthday, my wife and daughter were with this guy at his house. What the hell? He'd been in my house, slept in my bed while I was away for 4 months. And what's worse, this has been going on for 4 years. 4 damn years. There was a loud bang on the bathroom door. It was our daughter. I came out and stared at her. It was the first time I looked at my daughter like that. The same daughter I looked at with pride, love, and respect had now sunk into indifference and disappointment. I wasn't even angry. She was red and crying. She didn't know what to say. My wife was there, as were my sister-in-law and mother-in-law. I asked my mother-in-law if she knew what her daughter was doing. My wife responded, "Can we talk?" I don't know what came over me. I screamed, "Shut your mouth or I'll strangle you right now," so loud that even the neighbors must have woken up. I asked my mother-in-law again and she nodded. She nodded, damn it. I looked at my daughter and said to her, "I'm sorry I wasn't a better father. But I'll do one thing for you, I'll divorce your mother so this guy can be the father you so desperately want." I called my wife your mother for the first time when addressing her. I looked at my wife and told her she had 9 days until the end of the month to pack her bags and leave with her family. I'd serve the divorce papers, but for now I'll move out. She kept crying, but my scream in response must have caught her by surprise. She knew I wasn't in the mood to discuss or talk. I gave up. It was over. I couldn't sleep all night. I just stared at the wall and my phone, looking at photos of our family. In the morning, I told my wife not to cook for me because I didn't trust her. I feared she might poison me. I won't lie, she broke down and I felt I'd gone too far with that, but I was going to file for divorce today. She tried to talk, but I didn't want to hear it. My mother-in-law asked me to wait and hear her out before making a decision. I had a friend who's a lawyer. I met with him, laid out the whole situation. He simply told me, "I've been a lawyer for 12 years, he's 41, and I've never seen a case as infuriating as yours," and he hugged me. He said his uncle is the family court judge who'd probably handle my case, but before that I needed evidence. Lots of evidence. He gave me the number of someone who's a private investigator and I hired him. I went through my daughter's phone but found nothing. I talked to my wife, who apologized repeatedly but showed no remorse. My daughter, sister-in-law, and mother-in-law didn't come near me. My daughter got to the point where she was so scared of me that she spent 2 days at a friend's house. The friend's father called me and I had to tell him the whole situation. He said he was sorry. It was hard for him to believe what my daughter had done. As it should be, no man could dream of being betrayed like this by his own child. The private investigator found the guy, who turned out to be a cowardly idiot from the countryside, afraid of commitments, a part-time thief who used to work in the same place as my wife. I went to his house with my lawyer, the private investigator, and another friend who's a police officer. We managed to corner him with false accusations and he spilled everything. It turns out he was attracted to my wife and accepted a challenge from a co-worker to sleep with her. Soon it became love. He was really in love with my wife. I found out it was he who called my mother a witch to my daughter. It was a separate profile, and he was just my daughter's friend before my wife revealed she was having an affair with this guy. He was even willing to provide a written statement, video confession, photos, and even a witness in exchange for the promise that the news wouldn't reach his office or his sick mother, who's over 60 with heart problems in the countryside, and a few $1,000s. I agreed. My wife moved out with her family. She took a few more $1,000 from me to pay for rent. At the divorce hearing, I laid all my cards on the table. Every screenshot, every video of her boyfriend confessing, all the lies, receipts, and even photos of them holding hands and kissing. The expression on her face soured. She accused me of abuse, but that claim was easily dismissed since there was no evidence, and if I were abusive, why would I allow her to work and keep her family in my house? She had nothing to prove, and even her lawyer was surprised by the amount of evidence we had. She gave in at the end and told me she was incredibly sorry for what she did and would do anything to make up for it, even if it required the rest of her life. The judge determined I'd have to pay her alimony for 4 years. There was no custody battle since our daughter was already 15 at the time. She wished to stay with her mother. I had no problem with that. I'll come back to this later. My wife would receive half of my house and her car but nothing beyond that. I offered to buy her share of the house. Remember the generous amount my mother left? Another reason was that the real estate market would appreciate in the future, and I'd profit from it. Here I asked one thing of the judge. I wanted my name removed from the birth certificate. This of course wasn't possible. If I couldn't do that, I'd disown our daughter. The expression on my wife's face was priceless. She went pale. She responded, "How can you?" I reminded her that she put me in this situation. My daughter screamed, "Dad, you can't do that," right there in the courtroom. I ignored her. The judge was a good person and understood my feelings. However, he advised me to forgive. Legally, there's no way I can disown my daughter, but I can exclude her from my will. That was it. It took 8 months to finalize the divorce, and I couldn't have been happier when I left. I hugged my lawyer, he saved me. My ex-wife and ex-daughter approached. The wife told me, "I know I have no right to ask for forgiveness, but can you find it in your heart to forgive me?" I replied that I don't have a heart. She ripped it out. My daughter said she's sorry for what she did, she'll be the best daughter, and asked for another chance. This girl had the audacity to call me dad. I reminded her I'm not her father. I'm an idiot if she remembers, and that her father is who she wanted. She should be happy her mother is single now. She ran after me, but I left. On the way back, I asked my lawyer if I could inform the company where my ex-wife worked about what she'd been doing all these years. He advised me to get a restraining order first. With the help of my police officer friend and the judge, I managed to get one. I had to spend money. I went nuclear. I made 5 copies of the evidence. 1 for the company, 1 to be sent to my ex-wife's boyfriend's mother. I don't care, he didn't respect my house and my mother, so I can't respect him. 1 was with my lawyer and I burned 1. The last copy I left in my closet. The result was a real show. They were fired. My ex-sister-in-law had the nerve to confront me. She told me she always knew me as a brave, upright, loyal man of strong character and humble, but she never thought I'd ruin her sister's career like that. She yelled at me for having her sister fired. I laughed and reminded her that she was the one who supported the affair. I may be a coward for doing this, but what she did made her sister a homewrecker. I asked why she was so upset. Was there a possibility she'd gotten involved with her sister's boyfriend too? She was shocked and blocked me. My ex-mother-in-law reached out. I'd forgotten about that woman. She apologized for what happened. She couldn't raise her daughters well. I woke up to reality. I told her she was a horrible, greedy woman. I wouldn't care if she died, and she should be grateful to have had a person like me as a son-in-law in this life before blocking her. As for the boyfriend, his mother had a heart attack and ended up passing away. It turns out his mother always hated infidelity because the boyfriend had issues with his father. His father abandoned him before he was born. I felt sad, but therapy made me realize I shouldn't. It's human nature. I didn't know about it beforehand. He destroyed my marriage and my family. I returned the favor. As for my daughter, she kept apologizing for every word. I blocked her, but she wouldn't stop looking for me. I had to change my number. I sold my house 8 months after the divorce was finalized. I got a considerable amount. I moved to a different city, started from scratch, did therapy, hit the gym, got a better paying job, got into boxing, bought a house, invested in cryptocurrencies and stocks, and made a small fortune. I entered the dating scene when I turned 42. I got married again at 44. Now I have a better wife, incredible in every way, who knows the value of a relationship because she went through the same situation I did. No children. I have a 4-year-old son with her and I couldn't be happier. I executed my will, excluding my daughter so she won't receive anything from me. I don't know how, but she managed to contact me 2 weeks ago. She sent 8 long paragraphs detailing how sorry she was, that she was fighting overwhelming depression, doing therapy, working hard. I received a call from my lawyer, which surprised me even more. My daughter showed up at the lawyer's office with $20,000. I don't know where she got that from. She made a request. She committed to working hard and returning every penny I spent on her and continuing to apologize for the rest of her life, but she wants me to be part of her life. She said she can't bear the situation anymore and it's consuming her inside. I don't know much about what happened, but from what I saw, her mother, my ex-wife, fell into depression and had to be admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Her sister went to live with someone, is pregnant with her 2nd child. My ex-mother-in-law died in an accident. She lost a lot of blood, and if she'd survived, she would have ended up like her late husband. Now my ex-daughter is living alone, working a part-time job because she couldn't complete her education. She borrowed some money from friends. I also heard that almost all her friends abandoned her after I talked to her friend's father. They all called her toxic and moved on. I won't lie, hearing all this broke my heart. My wife is encouraging me to rebuild the bridge with my ex-daughter, saying she's recognized her mistakes and needs me now more than ever, and if I don't help her now, she'll continue falling endlessly. I don't know how to feel. When you're a father, many responsibilities fall on your shoulders that you simply can't avoid. I gave my daughter the world and she betrayed me. I was hurt and angry, but above all, my pride was destroyed, my love was shattered. My decision to cut ties with my daughter was the hardest, but I still made that decision. But I don't know if I should contact my ex-daughter now. My lawyer said I should do it because it's the right thing to do. I need to put this behind me for my own good. Funny how life can change in an instant. I don't know what to do. As a father, you can forgive some things but not always. I'm ready to accept the pain back, but will this affect my wife and son? If I contact her, it'll only give her false hope. She doesn't know I got married again or that she has a brother. I'm going to schedule a meeting with my lawyer and therapist as soon as possible to discuss what my options are. My wife has been pressuring me and I'll include her in the meetings too. She's part of me. Those who say to cut her off, it's karma, shut up. Those who say I should accept her, see that it's not so easy. I'm a coward. I'm a damn coward. I can't face her after what I did. That's all. I don't intend to update, but I can't guarantee it. As for the awards, thank you very much, but stop giving me awards. I don't need them. Thanks for your helpful advice and responses. I didn't have time to read everything, but I'll read and respond if possible. I'll also try to respond to my direct messages as soon as possible. Update. I received a lot of attention and spotlight that I never intended to receive from the beginning. Back to my story, I met with my lawyer, therapist, and current wife to discuss my situation. For the record, they all suggested I talk first. I'm taking the first steps, making small talk with her before we meet. When we meet, we'll see how things go. It's a long road ahead. My wife said she always wanted a daughter and that we could be a family again. I was silent most of the time. Practically everyone here commented that I should give my daughter a second chance, and that's wonderful, isn't it? But the years of lies, dishonesty, disrespect, constant screaming, constant name-calling, and trauma I faced won't disappear. They'll come back instantly. Now I have a loyal, honest wife who loves me. I have a 4-year-old son whose upbringing depends on me. It's a very sensitive moment in my life that I'm betting on. I'm in my 40s, about to turn 50 next year, and I don't know how much more time I'll have. Nobody knows. I know that with my daughter and son by my side, I'd have the world, but I just can't. It tears my heart, rips my heart apart. I've become a man who's developed a fear of lying, a fear of infidelity. I don't want to face that again, or God knows what I'll do to myself. I hope everyone at this point has understood what I'm saying. I won't say it clearly. I don't want to seek reconciliation with my daughter. It was hard to write this, and when I said it in front of my wife, lawyer, and therapist, there was an unbroken silence. They weren't expecting it, especially my wife. I explained to them my reasons for it. I can't force myself to do it. I'm a coward, I'm an idiot, probably the worst father, but I just can't. We haven't talked in years. I don't know how she is. I don't know if she's telling the truth, but I don't want to take risks. I won't have another chance. I'm risking my sanity, my family, my life at the most sensitive moment of my life. If this fails, it will torment me. I don't know if I can recover from it. But I couldn't convince the three of them. We came to a conclusion. I'll send an email or meet her just once. It won't be easy. I'll put all the cards on the table, tell the truth. I can forgive her, but I can't build a bond with her. When we got home, I saw my wife was upset with me. We talked about it, and she expressed that what my daughter needs is proper guidance that she never had. I told her she's no longer a girl, she's a woman. She's grown up and needs to learn on her own. My wife told me that the least I can do is give her the closure she needs and the necessary help. I asked what she meant by that, and she told me that maybe I can help her get back into education, which would help her get back on her feet. At first I said no, but after thinking about it for a while, I think it's a good idea. Children make mistakes. Teenagers hide. Adults take responsibility. I tried to be the best father I could, but I failed miserably at it. Now it's the least I can do, but it's still hard to be in this situation. You see, I don't know if she'll actually take advantage of the education opportunity, so I'm still hesitating. My wife and I have $800,000 in savings, of which $600,000 is mine. I plan to send about $50,000 for her education and housing, along with the $20,000 she intended to send me. I hope she has that amount, and I'll send an email summarizing everything. That's the thing, a part of me wants to try, but the risks are high. Now I have a young family and I can't afford to do it all over again. It took me years to recover. If I hadn't met my current wife, I don't know what I'd be doing now, to be honest. My fate is much worse than my ex-wife's. She can recover and return to sanity, but I'm losing someone who's part of me while I'm in full consciousness and with the best intentions. How will I recover from this? Some editors said, what if you're in your 80s on your deathbed pondering if you made the right choice? Be honest, it's not the right choice in this situation. My therapist said reconciliation is right, but it's also right to leave things as they are. I know I'll blame myself when I reach that stage, but for now, It's my decision with full consciousness. I think the author's wife deserved a much worse ending, to be honest. The author was treated terribly, and it's his right not to want any contact with his daughter if he doesn't want to. But it's important to remember that his daughter was alienated against him from a very young age by his ex-wife and those around her. There was no chance for her to form a bond with the author with so much negativity pushed against him, and it seems she only realized what the author did for her after he was gone. Despite everything, this man has suffered enough. The decision to reconcile with his daughter should be his and his alone.